Didn't that one VTuber streamer get banned or whatever?
Picante?
Code Miko?
Oh. I forgot to tell you, I've been streaming as a VTuber now. I got huge titty.
I have huge titty. Not even titties, titty.
What's good, man? It's your boy Juicy J, man. Shout out to Virtual Homework Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
I left him hanging on that one. I'm like, he's doing the intro this time. And look what happened.
I went, but yeah, this is the Virtual Homework Podcast featuring Dana and
Sam.
Do you like how we have like a discombobulated fucking break when I'm like, and Dana and...
Well, okay, I like it. It's like a Mad Lib podcast. Actually, that'd be a way better idea than our podcast. We take Mad Lib suggestions from the listeners, and then we just, there we go. That's it.
And then mine would just be poop, ass, fart, tits, baba booey.
Like I say, the best content on the internet. I mean, we don't even have to change the name. Virtual Homework. The homework this time is not the Mad Lib. It'd be better than like being on like page 3 of Google results because like every single other thing is like actual virtual homework help.
When I search Virtual Homework Podcast, where are the people that come up?
I would hope we're the people who come up in that case. That'd be really bad if we were not
we're like
on page
on
one.
Third page. What if like fucking Seth Rogen just made the Virtual Homework Podcast, like made his own podcast and it was called that, and it's like got so much more popular.
I'd be really sad, but I would at least think we could like contact Seth Rogen and like get something out of it, Like he would find the humor in that, the existential dread us as a podcast would face.
Or what if he was just like, hey, you have to remove all your shit from the internet forever or I'm like suing you.
Yeah, it's the opposite. He's like, you guys were here before me, but I'm fucking Seth Rogen. I mean, he's been sassy on Twitter at least.
Exactly.
He went up against Ted Cruz, my hero, and
so that's not even something to joke about.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay.
Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. Okay.
Yeah, they actually. Did you hear about them getting the like code of one of the Zodiac's messages?
Yeah.
Like
they like
relatively recently, after like 50 years.
Yeah, they like deciphered some of his like riddle. Like he had like a fucking encrypted message or some shit. I remember reading it, but I don't remember what it actually said. So
yeah, it was like it wasn't actually something that mattered. It was just like I was in awe of the fact like it was so unbelievably complicated and they solved it and took like an algorithm that did like billions of calculations. Anyway, we are so off track right now. This is the Virtual Homework Podcast. We talk about video games, video game news, Dana's stupid ass I don't know, haircut. What would you say is stupid ass on you?
What's wrong with my haircut? At least I have hair.
I'm just like looking at him and
at least
I'm like,
I have hair, Mr. Baby Hat.
Yeah, okay. I'm wearing a hat that is you would probably see it on a baby. Like it's like basically one of those bonnets. I look like a badass. I've always been a badass. But no, I was looking at you. I'm like, what can I make fun of? Even though like there's nothing to make fun of on Dana. There's
a lot to make fun of. I literally have like the worst mustache right now. I'm trying to grow a mustache.
Oh yeah, I should have went mustache. It's
terrible. It's like
instead I'm gonna make you self-conscious about something that you don't need to be self-conscious about.
Speaking of being self-conscious, we played a cool game this week.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
My goal for 2021 is to have the worst transitions possible.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, is it a bad transition when we're just like, you're digging me out of the deep here by any means possible? That's impressive. What did we play this week?
We played something kind of way out of left field, I feel.
Yeah, I definitely was not predicting this one. It's like, I wonder what Dana's going to pick this week. But I feel like it's impossible to pick.
Yeah, we played a game called Starsector, which is like an open world, post-apocalyptic, like futuristic strategy game. We kind of like travel around space and like do all this other crazy shit.
It's kind of like 2D No Man's Sky.
Yes.
But like not that has a terrible implication that I don't think is present here.
Yeah, like this is more like you sell drugs and like take over colonies and fight and murder and barter.
Well, it also just didn't promise to do literally every single thing on the planet and then not do that. So like I hate comparing any game to No Man's Sky, even if it is like very similar genre wise, because it's a space game where you're going from it is literally a procedurally generated world, planet to planet. yeah, it wasn't as shockingly disappointing to the people who were interested in the game, especially because it was an indie game by one person, right?
Which was?
This one.
No, this is actually made by a team of 4 people. This game has actually been in development for almost 9 years. It's been out for about 9 years, and they've just been doing free updates for it ever since.
It came out in 2013, like as a beta, but I guess it probably was public before that, right?
Yeah. So like I said, it's been about 9 years of it being for sale and people being able to play it. $15. This is like a wildly expansive game, surprisingly.
Yeah, so like they mentioned that this game is not on Steam because they want to wait for it to be on Steam until it's in a more ready state. But have they heard of like early access video games and how that's like literally like one of the most lucrative parts of Steam? Like they're really shooting themselves in the foot by not putting this here.
I don't think they care. I mean, like this game has fantastic reviews. I mean, so I'm like gushing over it, but like I kind of want to go over like what the actual fucking gameplay is. To go into the actual story of the game, basically, sometime in the future, there's like this futuristic race. They have
like 3126 or something.
Yeah, they have this technology, and then out of nowhere, they like disappear, and then this is 200 years after that civilization falls or whatever, and you are scraping up the remnants of past technology, and that starts with like warp gates that you guys reactivate to find other parts of the cosmos. And you're pretty much just like finding ships because no one has any idea how any of it fucking works. So you're just like finding ships, you're re-augmenting and repairing them, and basically traveling, doing whatever the fuck you want. I mean, there's like a little bit of a story, but realistically, at the end of the day, you can play this however you want.
Yeah, it really is like open world in the most definitive sense. Like you go from planet to planet. As long as you have the supplies, you could pretty much choose any mission, advance the story any way you want. Something you missed is like, yeah, you go from planet to planet doing all this stuff, but a significant portion of this game is like the battle system, where you go and basically, as soon as you run into an enemy, you could either choose to like talk to them, try to like diplomatically get stuff out of the way. I've never actually gotten to the option where you're able to not go into combat.
It's either you get fucked up or run away. The combat is a little... probably has a really big fucking learning curve. That was probably my biggest difficulty, was learning the fucking combat. I did the tutorial and everything, but... Yeah,
this game is honestly just way too complicated for its own good, I thought. It's one of those things, it's probably me, because I'm not interested in like MOBAs, I'm not interested in like a lot of these like RTS games, and I feel like that's because of the learning curve and just like the complicated mechanics and how everything interacts with each other is just not something I'm willing to go through. I like games where I could start off and kind of like mindlessly snowball into a story, into a gameplay mechanism. But the combat in this game was especially difficult. There is a 3-part tutorial on learning how to do combat, which when you think of like, I don't know, you're a spaceship shooting another spaceship, you wouldn't expect it to be super complicated,
it's like
but it is.
Unbelievably complicated as far as positioning for your ships, augmenting your ships. You have a fleet of ships that you can switch between, setting up actions for them. You're positioning how you move. Like it's an unbelievable amount of stuff. And then the problem with the tutorial, it gives you like 50 different button commands on your keyboards that do different things, which like Control 3 or F or R, T, or Control T or whatever, that they just kind of like gloss over super quickly, and you're expected to memorize
I forgot everything.
all of them.
I remember. Oh, V for vent. There we go. I remember that. Good.
Yeah, basically,
but like Control 3. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah. So basically, what you can do is most ships have 3 different attacks. You have like a gun, you have a missile, and then you have like a laser beam. You can make it so it auto laser beams enemies if you go near them and stuff like that. You can. There's near limitless customization with the ships. I think there's like 700 different ships or something like completely ridiculous, and you can edit them with hundreds of different weapons and where you put these weapons, strategies and stuff like that. There's like certain abilities that like augment and change with each other. Like I was watching this video, and this guy had a ship that would phase into like another dimension, so you can like dodge shit. But what he would do is he would drop bombs on himself as he did that, so he would just run into enemies, dropping bombs on himself, then phase in another direction, and then the bombs would just explode and just kill everything. Like it was quite cool to watch, like what like some of like the later people are doing with it. This definitely very much so seems like a game that you would enjoy only after getting like 20 hours into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I'm not gonna rag too much on the format of this podcast, but this is a game that you really have to be enthusiastic for going in for you to really get. Like, I can't just be like, oh, you're looking for a new game, why don't you try this? And it's like, oh, you know what?
That's
okay.
literally
like,
what happened to me. Like, I was talking to one of my guildies. He's like, yo, this is one of my favorite games. I'm like, okay.
I feel like you have to be passionate about the genre, passionate about like space exploration. I am gonna be completely honest. Like, I could not get into this game at all. I played probably like 3 or 4 hours. I tried different things. There's also missions, which are basically just individual battle sequences that you could use, and I think that actually did improve my battling in this game. But just the overall level of complexity of this game, and struggle with the fact that like I thought it had a relatively difficult learning curve, and maybe it's because I'm bad at resource management based games. Like I always found myself in Lego Rock Raiders, which is my favorite RTS. Legitimately, I love that game. I played that all the time as a kid. I would always struggle with like managing the resources. Like it's just not the game for me. I tried and I failed like a lot. Probably had to restart 3 times relatively early.
Oh, yeah, this is definitely a game you need to restart over and over and over to like learn and stuff like that. It's really hard to put down how the game it runs, so I can just give an example of like one of the situations I ran into. Basically, what happened was I was on a random ass planet after doing a couple missions, and I went to a bar and I talked to some random guy, and he was like, hey, if you want to make some money, go to this pirate outpost, pick up some illegal shit. So you're picking up drugs and, aftermarket organs and stuff like that. So I'm like, sure, cool, I can make some big money doing this. So I do that, I get the stuff, and then on my way back, so there's this thing called the transponder beacon, which lets everyone know who you are, what your deal is, and stuff like that. Basically, it gives them free reign to come up to you and inspect you and do whatever. So I forgot to turn mine off as I was going back into, I guess because the bar I found was in like, positive territory, like a faction I had good standing with. And they immediately searched me and found all these drugs and illegally harvested organs and just fucking killed the shit out of me. Like,
those are my organs, okay? Yeah. Come on. I just keep them outside.
And the game is just abound with like super stupid shit like that. Or another situation I came into was there's this thing called hyperspace, which allows you to get from galaxy to galaxy. I was in the middle of hyperspace and I see a distress beacon, and I go to it and there is a ship, and they're all infected with this virus that I didn't realize until I was on it, and it infects everyone on my ship. And
was it COVID? Got to keep it topical.
Yes, it was COVID.
It was COVID. There we go.
And we all died. And my game ended.
He's like, fuck.
I lost 2/3 of my fleet there. So I mean, like, this game is completely like it's insane. There's so much, like, once you get more advanced into it, there's a million different factions. You can colonize planets. You can make your own faction. You can start your own economy. You can do things like turn everybody on your economy to robots. Like, you can do like the customization is endless on this. If you are someone that can get super in depth in this type of game, do it. If not, then this takes a very specific person to enjoy.
Yeah, you mentioned like, oh, once you get into it, it's like you're like already a PhD astrophysics. It's like, oh, once you get into it, it's like, oh, it's like once you devote your entire life to studying the quark constant. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, this is the type of game that I feel like someone who really likes like those flight simulators, like Microsoft Flight Simulator would like. It's just like, it's very, very
specific.
Specific is a good word, but like you have to follow the rules to a T or else everything will go wrong.
Yeah, it's like you have to like this, like, or like Factorio. I feel like people see, but you like things like Terraria, which I feel is like resource management and like very in depth and stuff like that. I guess this is just different.
I liked it 10 years ago. Every single time I try to get back into it, like I stop after like 2 hours. One of the reasons why I like Terraria so much is like I played the game before they introduced potion sickness. So this was like super early on in the game. And like as soon as I couldn't just like spam kill my way through everything, I kind of like didn't get into it. So I don't know. It's
okay. You're casual. You can say it.
I'm a casual when it comes to most games. Like it takes I'm a casual except for the casual games. Like I play Mario like a fucking maniac. Like come on, Mario's not like esports material.
You like casual games, but you're the least casual at them.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good way to put it. Thank you for
what I'm here for.
Doing a little bit of the circle jerking with me.
I'm definitely gonna play more of this game. I did not get to play as much as I wanted. I only played like 8 or 9 hours, but I feel like this is something I can definitely come back to and enjoy a lot of.
I am completely the opposite way. I will probably forget about this game and never think about it again.
Do you enjoy any parts of it, or was it just like whatever? For you?
So I kind of like as a programmer, I see games a little bit differently, I feel, than a lot of people who don't work in the field. And like I could just like appreciate a game made by 4 people that looks very nice and really does what it set out to do very well. Like from what it is like literally promising you from like a game dev perspective, like it gives you that. It just, I didn't want that. Yeah. I didn't order the fucking chicken liver platter. I ordered the chicken tendies, and I want those tendies in my mouth.
What?
That's how it is. That's just how it is.
Yeah, like I said, it's you have to be a very specific type of person. I don't want to say I hate using the term simulator, but it's kind of in that same.
You hate it, but you said it, so there we go.
Yeah,
Dana canceled 2021.
Beep that out.
I will do no such thing. Actually, I will, because I respect you as a person. There we go. Heart to heart conversation. The only reason I might play this game again is because this game is, again, not on Steam. So if I search S on my computer, it's going to say Starsector, because I don't really uninstall things because I have like 20 terabytes of space.
Well, aren't you special? And that is quite the flex.
I spent my money kind of unwisely. I don't use nearly as much, but now I basically have an unlimited amount of space, and that's pretty cool. I did not like this game reminded me of like installing a game from the 90s. I just want to point that out there.
Yeah.
This
game has like it has 98% views for Google users. So and again, it came out April 26, 2013, I suppose. So I guess that's 9 years ago. Well, 6, 7. It says I guess it was in alpha or something like that, like you said. So
I personally just think, like, from a business perspective, the fact that this isn't on Steam is just stupid on their part.
Yeah,
just put it on Steam. Just put it on Steam. There are way worse games that are unfinished that are like, come on, just put it on Steam.
They would make so much more money. I will say, though, this works on Linux, Windows, and Mac. There are very few games that work on all 3 of those, so you got to give them kudos for a 4-man team to make this as available as possible.
Want to know what else is actually, no, is Among Us a 3-man team? I was gonna say Among Us is also a 4-man team, but I don't even know. When I think of like Among Us, I think of like all these like YouTuber cliques, and I think of like Minecraft. How often are you browsing Twitter and in your trending tab is like Dream said hi to his mom?
It's like, Dream showed his left testicle.
Oh, that would actually be news if 10 million
he's
sub
like,
YouTuber.
We saw his arm today. Like,
yeah, it's like literally there was like one he breathed on stream. I'm like, is this really? Who do you think I am? How much self-respect do you think I have? Like,
I mean, the thing is, we're like 30, so it's like, if you were like 12, you'd be like, oh my god, I'm my class.
This is why I'm not as concerned as like some people when they say like machine learning is gonna like it's gonna turn into a singularity and then it's gonna take over the world, because like they still I'm looking at my trending tab on Twitter right now, because of course I'm looking at Twitter instead of like,
let's see,
focusing on you, and I see Hand Sam Dude, Minecrafter streamer Sam, that's me, known as Awesome Dude, revealed his face on Dream SMP, and the consensus is that he's a handsome dude with a sporty pretty boy face
with 34,000 tweets.
Why is that being sent to me like it's something I give any shits about?
Because fucking like 13-year-olds love Minecraft.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, this is not an issue that I like. When you think of machine learning, you think of like them putting like the absolute most mechanical touches, like you 3 years ago searched that you might need this kind of towel, and they're like, oh, he searched that because he actually has a sweat gland that's overactive in his left eyebrow, and because of that he might want this like specific hat that's good for people with the left eyebrow. It's like, oh, like it's not that. It's like, oh, you like video games? Here's a hashtag about some YouTube guy
I think
that you're
they
never
could
gonna
get
watch.
better with it. Like, I think they're just showing what's trending in general and not really what's directed at you. Maybe it probably has some sort of tag like gaming. You look at gaming content, like the vaguest
you can
of
see
terms.
that, right? Like, you could see your Google advertiser profile and like see what it like considers. Like,
how do I do that? Mine's just like anal.
I mean, you know what you like, dude.
Bell Delphine feet.
Oh my god.
25 to 34 years old,
Okay.
male, action adventure
Okay.
films, action and platform games, adventure games, American football. I don't give a fuck about that.
You could take that off.
Turn off.
He's curating his ads right now, as any do-gooder should.
Android apps. I don't give a fuck about that. Anime and manga. Yeah, dude. Augmented and virtual reality. I don't care.
This is literally what Google thinks of you from like years of research. So like that's why I'm not concerned about like the machine learning. Machine learning is powerful.
Bars and clubs and nightlife. I guess I'm up all night, I guess.
Got to spend that time at the club.
Bedding and bed linens. I do love,
you're just,
like,
every
beds.
week a new sheet. I keep talking to you. It's like, what is he putting on his bed today?
I'm just going to go down some of the flowers.
Ooh.
Greeting cards.
What? Greeting cards? How often are you... You've never sent me a card, dude.
Mass merchants
Mass
and
murders.
department stores.
And department stores.
No, this is all fucking stupid. Like, I'm not into, like, any of this. There's like things I'm interested in, but it's like
I'm telling you, it's not. Machine learning is a powerful tool, and I've seen machine learning used for cool things. But I feel like every single time a company touts machine learning as like I work in a field where like machine learning is constantly touted as like, oh, you should buy our proprietary product because machine learning is like the future. And it's like, you don't do shit.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like it hasn't got to the point where it's giving us enough pointed information. Granted, if you look at my list of things that's curated for me, a lot of it there's a large portion of it things that I am interested in to me. So they're getting there, you know. And I imagine a percentage of those ads are targeted and are clicked on. But I mean, the problem is like if you look at my age group, like all of us have like ad block.
Yeah, you don't realize it, but you're probably like hyper sleep screaming a lot of these ad profiles. Like all this shit that you say you're not interested in, like American football, you know you're screaming about the Pittsburgh Steelers every single night, right?
I hope
like 4
not.
in the morning, you just say Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't have anything.
Not.
I don't
know anything. I don't know
where to go.
I don't know
with
the
this.
first thing about sports. Like I actually am like vehemently against sports. I fucking hate sports.
Yeah, I mean, like
actually.
of course you are. You're a fucking Blizzard gamer. You're a Redditor, man. You're just like whatever. I'm better
what
than
I
you.
am interested in, do you want me to tell you? I'm interested in esports. That's where things are really important.
Come on. You said you were gonna do bad transitions, and that was relatively smooth. Come on.
I do have a little bit of esports news. Someone named Lighty, he is well known in the World of Warcraft community for doing dungeons super, super fast. And World of Warcraft has this tournament almost every year called the Mythic Dungeon Invitational, where you qualify by doing dungeons as fast as possible, as difficult as possible. And their team frequently goes very, very far in this tournament. However, this year he decided, I'm not doing this. I'm going to play Path to Exile instead. Because the problem with Blizzard games is they do not pay shit. Like, he's basically going to make like $2,000 for like 6 months of playing every day. Or he can play Path of Exile for a week and make like 10 grand. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of streamers, and it's not just Blizzard games, but especially Blizzard games, that basically just say, hey, esports is cool, but it's extremely stressful, and I make a lot more money not doing esports, so even though this game is my passion, I will just focus on the streaming aspect, because that's how I actually can further my career.
Well, so like what I'm referring to in Path of Exile is that they have their own esports community. So they have like races to see who can get the max level first, who can kill this certain boss first and stuff like that, and then there's huge cash rewards to do it, because this stuff is like impossible.
So he's not quitting esports to become a streamer, he's quitting Blizzard esports to do Path of Exile esports.
Yes, because it's like you know how all like those Magic streamers quit Magic to play Hearthstone back in the day because like you made no money off of it?
Yeah, but there's also the fact that like, so I've heard this so many times. I watched at some point a lot of constructed Hearthstone, and the big thing, every single Hearthstone like esports person is like, yeah, don't do Hearthstone esports, just stream Hearthstone instead, because even though I enjoyed this game competitively, it has not been worth it. I spent so much time, and like I've not been rewarded.
You don't get anything out of it.
Yeah, so
well, that's why you see people like Crypt. Like he barely does tournaments or anything nowadays. He just plays like shit for fun nowadays because he has enough of a following.
Yeah, I feel like Blizzard really. I mean, like, I don't watch a lot of esports. Like I will watch high level play in certain games, but that's not like esports. I don't really watch like tournaments in the games that I play.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe that's Blizzard realizing that the esports, like I do see both sides in that, like I think that esports is overhyped as like an audience. Like esports is very different than traditional. Okay, maybe not traditional sports,
Correct.
but like
but here we're saying this though. But if you look at the viewership for some of these Fortnite and League of Legends tournaments, it's like upwards of 1 million people watching this. This is like more people watching this than fucking like football events and stuff like that. Like this is like huge, and they're like, and the problem is at the same time these tournaments have like hundreds if not millions of dollars of payout and prize. So do you think Blizzard looks at this shit? Companies that make Blizzard makes just as much money, these other companies makes just as much as these other games, and they're like, oh, we're gonna pay out $2,000. Like what the fuck is that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like they're decreasing the esports presence that they currently have. Like Hearthstone, the example I have, they like put all their esports on like YouTube, and like it killed the scene. But like I feel like esports people really they talk about like, oh, brands promoting esports, et cetera, et cetera. Like Blizzard doesn't really care about their esports division, but like I feel like people really don't realize how like hit or miss it is. Like as soon as a game comes out, you kind of know it's going to be an esports like thing,
Dude,
right?
Fall Guys esports.
Like it's like it's due to the actual popularity of the game more than it is like the game's willingness to invest in esports. Like Fall Guys, like sure they actually have like. If a company sees something as popular, they're gonna like say, you know, we roll with it.
The thing about that though is that World of Warcraft is the #1 MMO that ever will be, you know, and on top of that, Hearthstone is the #1 card game that ever will be. Yet they still don't do prize, so it's not like these are, you know, indie games that don't have a following. I mean, like hundreds of millions of people play these games.
All right, so let me make a coherent point here, because I've said like the same thing over and over again in different ways. You could have a popular game, but I feel like it's pretty clear to see if it's going to be a very popular esport from the get-go. I feel like Hearthstone esports, while they were relatively popular, I think that Blizzard knows that no matter what, Hearthstone, well, there's two parts of this. One, Hearthstone esports will never be the next big thing. Like even when Hearthstone esports was big, like it wouldn't rival the likes of like CS:GO, and that was just apparent from like the esports scene in the beginning.
Well, the biggest thing in I see in like Blizzard game esports is that it's hard for someone on the outside to know what the fuck is going on. Like you hear the casters going like, "Oh my god, you did this, you did that, you did that," and it's like unless you're intimately involved with these games, you're like, I don't understand at all what the heck fucking happened. But if you're watching CS:GO and you see a crazy ass shot, you could have never played a first-person shooter in your life, and you're like, holy shit, that was fucking nuts, you know?
I disagree in that, like, I think they're both on equal playing field of, like, not having any idea what's going on. Like, you could see a shot in CSGO. You could see, like, someone get obliterated in Hearthstone. That's, like, the same really core feeling. I remember when I remember when CSGO went on TBS under E-League, and it literally did worse than Big Bang Theory reruns that play it on the same time slot. And I like
correct on traditional TV, but if you compare that to like the viewership it gets online, I don't think esports has a place on like traditional media. I just don't. I think it should exist only on online, because the people who watch it and consume it are going to be on their computer anyway.
No, but like I wasn't trying to make the point that it deserves to be on traditional TV. I was just saying that the traditional TV audience is probably people who've never seen CS:GO. Well, like we played CS:GO at one point. Like I don't think it's a fair comparison, because we.
So when I say you've never played it or seen it, I mean like people in the gaming sphere that may not be intimately knowledgeable of like the inner workings of the game. They could have seen it, you know, maybe their friends played or something like that, versus like something a Hearthstone and World of Warcraft. You have to actively play these games to know what the fuck is going on when these casters are screaming like, oh my god, what the fuck, I can't believe you did that, blah blah blah. You have to be intimately knowledgeable of the mechanics, versus CS:GO is like point gun shoot, that was crazy.
I completely disagree. I tried watching CS:GO
well, I think you're a fucking piece of shit.
Okay, there we go. End of the podcast. Like I'm not just talking this episode, I'm just talking about the entire podcast. It's done. It's done. He's called me a piece of shit. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to continue the podcast with this fucking heathen, this fucking terrible human being.
Hold on.
Oh my, the dude. He farted into the mic. You're not gonna hear it. I'm not gonna subject you all to that, but it was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Patreon only.
Patreon only. Yeah, that's gonna be the only clip on our Patreon, except for you could download our virtual calendar where we're both shirtless and I don't know. It's going to be great.
Dude, can we have a sexy calendar?
Yeah, let's do it. Virtual calendar. If we're going to talk about Blizzard, because I feel like this esports conversation is going nowhere, and if you really want my opinions, just email me at spicysnes@gmail.com. Email me, say, hey, what's your opinion? And I'll answer on anything. You tell me like some controversial issue. You say like, what's your opinion on abortions? And I'll be like, you know what? Let's get into this. And then pretty soon you'll see like,
what about my opinions? You can email me at spicydana@grindr.com.
There we go. You heard it here first. I don't. Hey, see what happens when you email that. But like, I will send you a 45-page single-spaced size type font 8 Times New Roman document regarding my opinions on literally anything. Don't hold me to it, but I do want to see at least one email. That would be pretty funny. If we're going to talk about Blizzard games, we have to talk about the fact that Blizzard is like now the developer of Tony Hawk.
No, so
I know what
what's
happened,
going
but
on?
I just thought it was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, that's fucking... So basically what's happening is the studio behind like the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series, who is a company that is, owned by Activision. Why are you running batteries on your face?
Charging up.
I can't breathe. Charging up.
All right, continue, man.
Blizzard has acquired a company that was under the umbrella of Activision. Oh god, the name escapes me.
Vicarious Visions.
Yeah, Vicarious Visions has been acquired by Blizzard. Basically, a lot of Blizzard teams within the past couple years have been dismantled, and they're going to work together on Blizzard games. Most notoriously known is the Warcraft 3 remastered, which did fucking terribly because it was released terribly and was missing a lot of the original things that people liked about
Reforged.
it. Correct. That team got disbanded late last year, and a lot of them either left the company, and the people that are left are going to be working with this new team to hopefully make sure the Diablo 2 Reforged, whatever the fuck it's called, remastered, that's going to be coming out, which I'm very, very excited for, is up to snuff.
Yeah.
People are like really worried about this, but I don't know.
I'm not worried about this at all because I feel like people like really skip the part where like, yeah, they were owned by Activision and they're moving to like literally they were part of Activision Blizzard under the Activision side, and they're moving over to the Blizzard side. It's like, what? These people still exist, and they made a good Tony Hawk Pro Skater remaster. It's not like a huge-ass deal. Like, people are saying, like, oh, they're going to the Blizzard graveyard. I'm like, I don't know. It's still their own team based out in Albany, New York. I don't think most of Blizzard's there. It's not like they're going to, like...
If anything, they have more to work with now.
Yeah, I think the biggest news about this is that they're making a Diablo 2 remake. I had no idea.
Yeah, I am very excited for that. To be honest, I might ask you to play that because you've never played a Diablo game, right?
Diablo was the first rated M game I owned, and I got it for a birthday. I remember I was in like 5th grade, and my friend was not my friend.
Diablo 1 or Diablo 2?
It probably was Diablo 2 like 2002.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was probably actually Diablo 2 was my first rated M game, and someone got it for me for my birthday when I was in like 4th grade. And I remember specifically my parents not letting me, like, it was like my birthday gift, but I was not allowed to play it, so I did not play it.
If you didn't know, that's my favorite online game of all time.
I could see it.
I think Diablo 2 is the best game of all time, I would say, as far as an online experience. And what it entails. Maybe we'll play it, or maybe we'll play Diablo. I'm actually more interested to see you play something like Diablo Immortal.
I've played Diablo Immortal.
Well, that's what I mean, is because we've discussed Diablo Immortal, and like people who are very much so into the Diablo community are like, "Oh, this is gonna suck," blah 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 blah. But I know that game is going to do well is because you, someone who's never played a game like that, said it was so much fun. Like, I remember you saying it was a fantastic experience. So that's how I know.
Got a free Nintendo Switch bag out of it too. It's pretty dope.
Really?
Yeah, because Diablo 3 was coming to the Switch, and they're like, oh, if you play Diablo Immortal, we'll give you a Switch bag. And I got
have
it.
it.
BlizzCon is the best, and anyone who like is like, oh, Blizzard hasn't made a good game in 8 years, I'd be like, that's a specific number, but
I mean, Shadowlands is literally a fantastic game.
it's a fun convention. I've never had more fun in a convention, and I've been to a lot of them. So what I'm trying to say,
Blizzard haters are big dum-dums?
yeah, Blizzard haters are big dum-dums. Thank you for saving me there. Speaking of dum-dums, what did Xbox do this week?
They pooped the bed.
They pooped the bed. They said, you know what? Nintendo Switch, people got upset when they said they're going to charge $20 for their online service. Let's make our online service $120 fucking dollars. And it's like, everyone's like, no. No, what are you doing?
And you had to have that service to play any of their free games. So
Yeah. It's like, holy shit. Are you serious? $120.
And then they, like, 4 days later, because everyone was so pissed off, they quickly reverted it, which I thought was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was a calculated decision, though. Like, I feel like there's all these situations where, like, a company will announce something and be like, oh, we didn't realize the community would be so upset about this. We're gonna revert it. You know that, like, at a team at Microsoft is like, we're gonna announce this. If there is X amount of negative tweets in X amount of hours, we are going to rescind it. And they're like, oh, we're...
Yeah, because then they look good. They're like, oh, look, they're thinking about us. Blah,
They
blah,
look
blah.
good,
Like,
but they also, like, it's a calculated, like, oh, the negative PR from introducing this is, like, is offset by the
It's too
amount of
much.
dollars we make, et cetera, et cetera.
Absolutely.
I-
Like, they have this all calculated.
I personally just don't see how prices for online services are going to increase. Like $120 a year, that's like $10 a month to be able to play Xbox Online is definitely way too much money, especially on a platform like Xbox where I don't know a single person who's
Yeah.
excited to own an Xbox Series X. In fact, the fact that I understand the name of the new console is impressive. Like most people don't.
Yeah.
They're just like PS5 or bust.
I actually have conversations about this with people, and it's like, what reason really is there to buy a PS5 or like Xbox Series X or whatever the fuck it's called right now? I'm like, I went to one of my friends. I was like, so what's one exclusive game on the PlayStation 5
Bugsnax.
that isn't? Yeah, just Bugsnax. Like that's it. Like
I was joking,
and people
but
are
sure.
like, that actually is the one
Yeah.
exclusive. That isn't on like PS4 or something like that. Yeah, everyone's worse on PS4. Yeah, you can play it on PC or whatever. But like my mentality is everyone's like buying scalp PS5s like they need it right now, and it's like, well, there's just like really no reason to have any of these systems.
Any console on launch is going to be stupid, but like especially when Xbox says specifically that like these games are also going to run on Microsoft Windows. Like there's no, like every single
There's no-
game.
what reason do I have?
Yeah, every single game on Xbox One that was exclusive eventually, like not every single game, but like very like 99% of games on Xbox One came to the PC eventually. Like I remember I felt like a badass for getting like Raiden 5 or whatever, like this one shmup that was like only on Japanese Xbox Ones, like, and no one buys the Xbox One in Japan, so it was like this really obscure game.
No.
But even that eventually came to PC. Like really, Xbox shot themselves in the foot by making their platform more accessible, because like I don't see anyone that's getting an Xbox One or Xbox Series X because of that.
I think that's intentional though. I think they want to get away from the console market.
I don't disagree. I feel like they actually want to sell Windows machines. Like people say that that console exclusives are anti-consumer, and I do agree with that. But like, there's a reason to buy a Nintendo Switch. There's a reason to buy a
Correct.
PS5. There will be no reason to buy a Series X ever.
No. Well, here's the thing, though. I feel like there's more reason to buy a Switch than either of those, because the thing about Switch is none of those games are going to be on PC. Not a single
The
one
thing
of those
about
games are going to be on PC.
Switch is that you're so biased because you own one.
Well, but it's like the thing about PS5 or Xbox is like 90% of those games are going to be on PC if I want to play them, you know?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I just wanted to pull your chain, man. I don't know. I just feel like I understand inflation is a real thing, and the fact that like games are $70 should surprise no one, because games have been $60 since like the beginning of the Xbox 360. Like really, for 12 years games have been $60, and now games are $70. But
So the difference I see now, though, is that games back then were like 60-hour experiences versus they're like 4 or 5-hour experiences nowadays for some games.
the
for some
fuck are you
games.
talking about, man? I disagree entirely.
But there are a lot of games that are long now, but there are a lot of games that are significantly shorter than games that used to come
Name
out.
one that's $60 that's like 5 hours.
Call of Duty campaign mode.
The thing is, like, I don't think it's fair to judge a AAA multiplayer game on that. Like, they
I play for the story.
if you play Call of Duty for the story, I'm sorry, but like they are literally selling that game for like 99% online audience. Like, I would not consider
Yeah,
that a
my
5-hour game just because the game is campaign 5 hours.
I can't think of games off the top of my head because I put myself on the spot, but I know that there's AAA games that have come out in the past couple of years that have been incredibly short.
No, what I was gonna say is that like I feel like it was justified to go from $60 to $70. In fact, it probably should be a little bit more considering the actual amount of dev work that goes into these games. But
Absolutely.
I
don't think they make enough money.
The thing about the online services is that I feel like online services are becoming less and less of like a luxury. Really,
it's a necessity.
Yeah, it's a necessity. It's the literal only way to play these games a lot of the time.
Think of the thing about, like, for example, like Cyberpunk. If you don't have an internet connection, you literally cannot play Cyberpunk. Like, you can't play offline. So it's like, if you can't bring your Xbox to grandma's house or PlayStation to grandma's house and play Cyberpunk because you don't have an internet connection. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, not only are these games more and more dependent on the internet, but like the idea of a game being connected to the internet is so no longer a novel concept that the fact that like you have online connectivity services, they should be cheaper, not more expensive. Like, it doesn't, the inflation argument does not make sense. There's a reason why like people, like, I'm actually like I'm annoyed that like Nintendo Switch Online, especially how shitty it is, costs $20. Like, it should be free, but like $20 is $20. $120 to use Xbox services is so
insane.
Fucking
Wait, so
stupid.
Nintendo's $20 a year, right?
$20 a year.
To me, that's completely reasonable. That is unbelievably
like
I think it's reasonable because they have to make some sort of money, and we have all those free Super Nintendo games and NES
like,
games.
Nintendo makes so much money on exclusives. Like, these games
not
wouldn't be where
money,
they
though.
were without the ability to play on, like, Animal Crossing.
Because all those things cost money. Like, all those servers and everything cost
money. But
I
like, I literally work in servers. I know they do not cost nearly as much money as the regular consumer thinks. And the reason why they're able to price this.
But we can. So let's say they're mandated that they have to price it. Would you agree that $20, if it was mandated they have to price it, would be somewhat reasonable for an entire year? Exactly. So it's like $120, even $59.99 or $120 a year is fucking insane.
It is.
I think nobody should be complaining at $20.
Like, I just want to hammer home the point where like a lot of these games literally would not be like, there would be no enjoyment if you couldn't play these games online. So like the fact that you have to pay for the enjoyment of your like you have to pay for the game outright, but then like to actually make the game an enjoyable game, you have to pay an extra service. Like, I feel like these companies should be like begging you to be online rather than you having to pay them. Like, the fact that like they thought they could charge $120 for online is so stupid. Oh my god!
It's like you gotta kind of wonder who makes that kind of decision. Like some like old person at like the all the way top who's just like, that's a good idea.
No, this is Microsoft. It was a team of 40 people. You know, it's like some massive like marketing push.
But it's like what was their I just trying to think because Microsoft from the consumer side, my understanding is it doesn't do too well, but they're like one of the fifth most grossing companies in the world from like their commercial side.
It's the idea of like any other situation like this where basically, the backlash, if it doesn't exceed X threshold, we're going to do it, and the money we make off the change is going to offset it. So
it had nothing to do with consumers. They were just like, hey, we can make more money or not. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, if we're like going into like the fuck consumers argument, did you watch that Crobecat video that I sent you?
I did not yet, no.
No! Okay, so I don't know.
We can pause so I can watch it real quick.
No, it's 40 fucking minutes.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like a fucking like documentary. Do you know Crobecat? Crobecat is actually probably top 3. I'm not gonna say he's my favorite because there's a lot of YouTubers out there, but he's definitely one of my favorite YouTubers because he's just so visceral in the videos he makes.
Do you know who my favorite YouTuber is? Markiplier.
I'm so tempted to just end the podcast right there. I know it wouldn't even be that bad, but like I gotta continue this conversation.
I'll let you continue.
I'm just fucked by that. Crobecat is a YouTuber who specifically he's like fucking correct. Crobcat's a YouTuber who specifically uses footage from the people he's like eviscerating to eviscerate them. He got popular videos like, like GTA 4 is better than GTA 5, and like he would compare like fighting physics from GTA 4.
You know what? I think I saw clips of this. Is this where he'd like take clips from like what the producers and devs said and then it would cut to like them saying stuff later. They're like, oh, we're gonna have customization on the cars, and then they have an interview like right before it comes out, and they're like, so about that car customization, like, yeah, there's no customization, you can just change the car.
Yeah,
like that
that, or like they'll actually show gameplay footage versus what they said. And the easiest to
I've seen
compare,
clips of
he
it.
made a No Man's Sky video a while ago, but it was like it showed like the extreme lies said in interviews versus like what was happening, and like it really made me lose sympathy for the.
I think I've seen about half of it because streamers were watching it and stuff like that.
So the thing is, Crobecat kind of, he doesn't make videos often, but he was making videos a lot more often than now. Like this is his first video in a year. He's been out of retirement for a year to make this video, and it was a 40-minute visceral hit piece on Cyberpunk, and I was just like, originally I was like, okay, this game was ambitious, but it was glitchy, and this is very different. This is like showing what they promised, even this year, like 2020 versus what they delivered, and it is upsetting. Like I've lost nearly all my sympathy for the developers of this game, and like I like CD Projekt Red in that like The Witcher was an amazing game. But it's so easy to lose ill will when you don't give yourself any sympathy. These are
now. Do you feel bad? You don't feel bad for the devs now, or do you think they just didn't have a choice?
I don't feel bad for the devs, but it's because the fact is like
do you I truly believe they wanted to have all these things in there. Like that's the scope of the game. They want it to be the certain way, but they just could not feasibly do it without like another like 2 years of time.
Working in a software development position, there is obviously software development and marketing. And like I feel like most of these problems were brought on by marketing, by straight up outright lying about what was in the game versus what wasn't. Like I feel like even from the demos of this game where like people were excited about it, like I can't really fault the reviewers like that were actually featured in the Crobecat video were saying like, oh, this game's awesome, because like they were on a heavily curated, like this is what we want the game to be from a development perspective.
Yeah, I actually think I saw this video. So,
like the marketing team completely overpromised and the development team underdelivered, because I feel like they were given impossible deadlines. But I don't feel sympathy because I feel like if you are a company, you have to be a cohesive unit. If your developer says you could fucking give yourself a blowjob in Cyberpunk and you can't do that.
So my understanding is that they had like 50 different units like working independently from one another, and that they were developing on old. So like this was originally supposed to come out on PS4 and like last console. So then they were developing on that, and then they had to upgrade it to like the newest stuff and focus on that, and it's like they had to rewrite shit. Like it was just a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like you don't get a situation like the Cyberpunk release without a nightmare from like an organizational perspective. But no, I don't have sympathy because I feel like as a cohesive unit, if you hear someone straight up lying in an interview, like you make a statement. Like you as a developer, like you have to be like, hey guys, this is fucked up. They're promising this. We're gonna get so much heat for this. Like there were so many opportunities where they could just say, you know what, we have to address this, and they didn't. So I'm not super concerned.
Do you think it was a matter of the investors, like, we don't give a fuck, you need to put something out?
No, I think the investors legitimately believed the wording of the... Like, the thing is, like, an investor, for the most part, they have, like, board meetings, but, like, they're not gonna, like, sit down with the individual features of a game. Like, they were promising these things, and I understand why they're suing at this point. Yeah. Because they were just... They weren't there.
It just sucks because everyone had such good things to say about them because of, like, Witcher 3 and, like, previous games and stuff like that, and then they do, like, the Cyberpunk, which a lot of people that do say they've ran it on, like, you know, $10,000 computers and the game's fantastic and stuff like that. A lot of the screenshots from that video and stuff are from like the PS4 versions, which are fucking awful, but a lot of them are from the PC as well. There's just insane shit with like cars like going through buildings, like assets that just don't work, assets that say like, you know, temp name here, like that kind of shit. Like
yeah, I mean, like I think we both agree on this. I definitely, so for both Dana, this is a PSA to Dana only, but if you want to listen, you could also listen. Watch the Crobecat video in its entirety. It's 40 minutes, but it goes fast. Watch it, you fucking ingrat. Just fucking watch it. Holy shit.
Ingrat? What's an ingrat?
Holy shit.
Ingrat.
Watch the fucking video. I give you homework for the podcast. You don't watch it. Holy shit. I'm gonna fucking blow my top at this.
I saw a lot of that video.
Okay. Anyway, if we want to talk about cool shit,
Show me cool shit.
No. What's the deal with Twitch? What's the deal with Twitch?
What is the deal with Twitch?
I just have a small blurb here because I feel like this is something that's up my alley because I've talked about this on streams before, and so Capcom recently released a new copyright policy that specifically disallows use of Capcom assets in Twitch emotes. So this is something that's actually I've talked about this like how many streamers have a fucking they literally just rip assets from Pokemon. They have a Pikachu as their fucking emote. I'm like, yeah, how is this
like a
possible?
Pikachu emote or I know Caleb Hart has fucking Mega Man heads and stuff
that's actually
that.
gone. That has to be gone now because Capcom specifically said you cannot use Capcom assets without their permissions. They're for example, Twitch emotes. You can't use Capcom assets. I wonder how this affects the fan art realm because I feel like fan art is different. That is some sort of
it's somewhat transformative, but what if you take a Mega Man helmet and put it on your actual face?
I mean that's different. They specifically mentioned Twitch emotes, so I just
that's
wonder.
what I mean. As what that is a Twitch emote, it's your face with a Mega Man helmet. Is that
I don't know?
Is that transformative or that considered
sometimes
asset?
it becomes transformative? But I feel like this is we're finally getting there. The adpocalypse happened on YouTube. The Twitch DMCA apocalypse happened, but Twitch emotes should have been affected a while ago. We were literally just uploading a SpongeBob image. Come on.
Or a Hank Hill face.
Yeah, I can't believe it took this long. I really can't believe it took till 2021 for a company to say, you know what, you can't do this.
I'm subbed to maybe 5 people right now, and I could probably look at emotes, and it's I would say there's probably a third of them are just straight up copyrighted images.
Yeah, I'm there we go. Dana has proved my point.
I'm actually going to look at the actual amount. Hold on.
He's going to calculate it here. Oh, 7/15 of my emotes are actually copyrighted images.
Then what about things from Franker Face Z or Better Twitch TV that are
I don't think they give a shit about FFZ because they're not making money off it. Literally, you have to buy a subscription to get some of these emotes.
Yeah.
That's actually profit for
example, Clint Stevens. It's what about the Mario Pepe or the Yoshi with a heart.
Well, Pepe is actually an interesting case because Pepe has actually done DMCA takedowns before for his emotes, but that's specifically in political cases. He doesn't like white supremacists using his emotes. So if there's a white supremacist on a platform,
that makes sense.
He'll be you know what? If there's a white supremacist on a platform, every single platform doesn't have white supremacists. If there's a white supremacist on a platform, it'll be you know what? You can't use Pepe. I'm DMCAing you. It's shit. But
so what do you think about because there's the Twitch Prime emotes that are official from Twitch and they're using copyrighted images.
Well,
do you think they have special deals?
No, they did.
Do you think just didn't?
So a lot of the people forget why everyone has a billion Pikachu emotes, but that was because of a Pokken tournament promotion. So that was legitimately done as part of a promotional deal. I actually hate them because they don't really work, and I just have a billion Pikachu faces. I don't like Pokemon that much, so that's how it works.
Well, fuck you. What other companies do you think are gonna jump on this same bandwagon? Do you think it's gonna stay or?
I mean, I don't think it's what other companies. I think it's it's gonna be a industry standard at some point to be you know what? Why do we just allow blatant misuse of
basically
copyright?
100% of retro gamers have to remove all their.
I really so they can't do fair use. If something is commissioned and it has enough transformative properties, I know fair use is a lot of a video based concept, but I feel in terms of art, there'd be a lot more DMCA's if art parodies were not allowed. So I feel it's going to be blatant rips of assets, and Nintendo is going to be the next company. The fact that some people just straight up have Mario sprites as emotes, some people have Pokemon sprites, because Pokemon's also owned by Nintendo, right? Game Freak is a subsidiary.
So you think it's different if they use a sprite versus if they make it for example, Clint Love an emote, it's Yoshi holding a heart. Do you think that would be taken down?
No, if it's drawn. I also Clint,
well, yeah, okay.
Clint
So anything.
Clint has emotes of him in a Link outfit, right?
Yes.
Those always be fine. I don't see a scenario where those are not fine.
Okay, so anything drawn is probably fine as long as it's not just straight up ripped.
Yeah, exactly. Do you see people taking down Ego Raptors animations of Link? No, because
no.
It's a similar situation.
I wouldn't be surprised. To be honest, I would not be surprised if.
I wouldn't be surprised because he has
if Nintendo went after that kind of shit.
I wouldn't be
after some
surprised
point.
because
Like,
this was like 2010. It was probably like Ego Raptor having Link say the N word. Like it's
yeah.
come on, like
It probably shouldn't be around at this point.
yeah, it's like Newgrounds fucking animations. Come on. I only have one other thing to talk about tonight, and it's very important.
What's that?
As we are both aware, not to get too political, Biden removed the button at the Oval Office, the faded button. The one that
Dude, this is the most important news of the week. I don't know what you're talking about.
so it's important news, but we're a gaming podcast. We don't like to get political. Trump had a button on the desk that summoned the butler to get a Diet Coke. To be fair, the fairness doctrine is in effect on this podcast. That button existed for many years. I forget what it was used for Bush, but Obama used it to summon the butler to get a tea.
I don't know how I feel about that. It's just something when you call it the Diet Coke button, it
makes me happy because it's like that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
It's like, I need a Diet Coke. Like, you ever seen that one video? It's like what people who like Diet Coke are like or something.
Well, I mean, like Donald Trump himself had a tweet that said, "I never saw a thin person drink Diet Coke."
Well, it's like, yeah, well, you're right.
I mean, he was not a thin boy. I'll say that much. But
Diet Coke also tastes like shit. Tastes like metal.
yeah, I mean, I don't like diet sodas. I feel like if I'm drinking soda, I might as well treat it as a dessert because like that's really what it is. Like so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for the real thing. But the question is not whether or not the Diet Coke button was like a good idea, whether or not it's like you respect it, you admire it, you wish you had your own. But it is kind of you wish you had your own. If you had a Diet Coke button, if you had a fucking butler summoning button, what would you summon? What would your Diet Coke button be?
Oh man. Probably like Starbucks peach black tea with no sugar.
Really?
Yeah. Like that shit's so delicious. I get their unsweetened black tea with peach flavoring, and it's barely sweet, but with peach flavoring.
Yeah, I guess the button inherently has to be food, right? Food or drink. Food or drink.
Well, it's like it'd probably be something to drink like that, because it's like my whole thing is I wouldn't want to have a button that just gets me Dr. Pepper all the time, because it's like I don't want to just drink nothing but Dr. Pepper. Versus like people who drink Diet Coke, that's like all they drink.
Yeah, Diet Coke is an obsession. It's not just a drink.
Yeah, so it's like I would want something that I can drink like all the fucking time, which is like that. I love unsweetened tea personally.
Yeah. I personally was a huge sweet tea fan, and then I went to China, and now I'm like extreme.
I hate.
Tea. Like there was literally a point in my life when I was in middle school where I did not drink water because this is a quote I said like multiple times. What's the point of drinking it if it's not flavored? And I lived for multiple years of my life not drinking. I didn't drink water for like 3 years.
I love drinking water. It's like my favorite.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is I was super into sweet tea at that point as well. But then I went to China, and then I'm like, oh, they don't drink sweet tea in China. I'll say that much. And then I got into regular tea, and now I drink Longjing Cha Dragon Ball tea. Good shit.
Dragon Ball Z?
Sure. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked it a lot, make sure to rate us 5 stars on iTunes and subscribe on whatever podcast app you use. Here's Dana with a ditty.
Ditty, ditty, ditty. Look at my titty. Give us 5 stars so we can go fars.
That and more if you continue to support.